Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. This is Gianni DePoci, your host. It is Wednesday, the 1st of November, so that means it's time to review some of the geocosmic activity of recent days and what's coming up ahead, as well as how the market has reacted. So let's go ahead and look at the Dow Jones to start off with. The Federal Reserve just came out and announced that they were keeping interest rates unchanged for their most recent meeting. And in response, we've seen stocks come down off the highs of the day. But we know that we are in this intense reversal period at the moment, one of our critical reversal dates here at MMA. So we have to be on alert for another reversal. And since stocks have been rallying, we would look for another high to form. So we've been outlining our bearish thesis in the equity market as of late. But looking ahead into later this week, we do finish on Friday with the sun opposing Jupiter, the same day that Venus will oppose Neptune. So perhaps an exaggerated sense of things being okay, but maybe they're not. And I would expect some wide price swings, especially we have Saturn changing directions and going direct on the 4th of November. So that could also be a catalyst for reversals. Now, next week, the geocosmic activity is not as intense, I would argue, as it is this week. We do have Venus trine Pluto on the 6th of November. So we would be on lookout for movements in debt markets and currency markets. But let's go ahead and jump over to the NASDAQ, which has been leading the market higher. So far, you can see here, too, it's coming off the highs of the day. From a technical standpoint, we could make the argument that this rally over the last couple of days was just short covering, and that now all we're doing is retesting former support turn resistance, and another lower high could form. So obviously there is no shortage of geopolitical tensions, monetary problem issues, and concerns of the economy slowing down. We have to keep an eye on that as we are still in a seasonally bullish time of the year. But we are also looking ahead to the Sun conjunct Mars aspect on the 18th of November. That's been shown to coincide with large price moves in markets and a lot of times sell-offs. So we could be in that range now, but our cycle studies suggest that we're not quite out of the woods yet. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interest rate on the 10-year Treasury yield. It's coming down a little bit today, but overall it continues to consolidate near the highs of its recent movement. This is really what I think has been driving market behavior, because now we are in an environment where there is a much higher risk-free rate of return being offered. And perhaps this has something to do with Pluto going into the sign of Aquarius, which will be next year on the 21st of January, and then it will retrograde back into Capricorn for another couple weeks in 2024. But we're in the last days of Pluto in Capricorn, for better or for worse. And, Pluto rules debt. So the interest rate regime that we've been accustomed to, going back to 2008, 2009, we had QE. That's when Pluto went into Capricorn. Those days are coming to an end. And we need to understand that. And, when we were basically bailing out corporations and governments, which are very Capricorn oriented entities, is that going to shift towards the individual via Aquarius? We talked about stuff like UBI and insurance and stuff like that changing. And I think that's only going to amplify in the coming years. So let's go ahead and take a look at GDX. Use this as a proxy for gold. So today we had heliocentric Mercury going to Sagittarius. That's a really important aspect for the precious metals market, and that can lead to sharp rallies. We've already had, the Mars and Scorpio play work out pretty well. We've been coming down from a high in metal miners from the 20th of October, but we could also see another reversal here. Not only are we in a reversal period, but with heliocentric Mercury in Sagittarius, that has been shown to coincide with rallies in precious metals. Now, when that doesn't happen, you can get a sharp sell-off, but it's only around 20 to 30% of the time that it doesn't work. So let's take a look at Bitcoin. BTC consolidating near the highs. Did it take out that high? Let's see, 32, 35, 183. We did briefly make a new high here, but From a technical standpoint, I would call this a bull flag formation. So we have the flagpole that was established, prices rallied, $6,000-7,000 in the span of, 3 days. And so what we're looking for now is a series of sideways price action. Okay. And what I'm most anticipating in the coming weeks, and I mentioned this with Puyan in our last video, as you can see here, Ethereum is still up on the day. Ethereum has been shown to display a higher propensity of 20% greater moves or more when Venus ingresses into the sign of Libra, which will take place next week on the 8th of November. So that's something we need to keep an eye on because a 20% move from current levels in Ethereum, you can see here, would take us to a new high for the year. And that's what I think is the most likely outcome in precious metals in the coming weeks, and something we need to be mindful of as an opportunity that's arising. Let's take a look at the euro against the dollar. So it's breaking lower off the back of the Fed's announcements to keep rates unchanged. Fed Chair Powell is about to have his press conference in the coming minutes here, but we do have Venus set to trine Pluto next week, as I mentioned, but I do think that the high that we formed yesterday on the 31st of October was the one that we were looking for our reversal zone. So that would be a lower high, and we would expect a continuation of the downtrend lower. So let's go ahead and take a look at the dollar against the yen, which broke out to another new multi-month high. We haven't quite taken out the highs of 2022 just yet, but this was something that we've discussed, and we went into depth about it actually during the MMTA Course 2 investment retreat. And we shared how, some of the aspects in the Bank of Japan's natal chart was pointing to a potential currency crisis in Japan. And as long as the dollar yen goes out near the highs of the week, I think we remain on track for that to occur. So that's something to keep an eye on over the next couple months as well. And last but not least, let's take a look at crude oil, which is on the defensive. Right now, we haven't quite taken out this low from October 6th, even though that the spot price of crude oil has taken out that low. Puyan and I had a good discussion about that last week, so I would encourage you to check out that video if you want any additional insights. But there's probably going to be an important move or reversal in energy markets by the end of the week. If not by the end of this week, then early next week, given we have the opposition between Sun and Jupiter this Friday, and Venus and Neptune this Friday, because Jupiter and Neptune are the co-rulers of crude oil. So expect this market to be highlighted in the coming days. So that's all that I had to review with you today. So thank you all so much for watching. You can find all of our work at www.mmacycles.com. Next week, we will be publishing our monthly edition of the MMA Monthly Cycles Report. So that is our flagship report that's been in publication for over 40 years. So all of our updates on stocks, bonds, currencies, and commodities will be in that report. Ray is featured, myself, Puyan, Wyatt, Matthew, Kaiser, all graduates of Merriman Market Timing Academy and very astute analysts in their own right. And we are also running out of time to reserve your copy for the forecast book. So feel free to visit www.mmacycles.com to reserve your copy before it all sells out. So thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we will see you same time, same place next week.